thought to be over. But the real game begins after the screen goes dark. My name is Kevin Walsh. I was born in Ohio in 1989. I am not a software engineer. I am a game creator. Actually, I was a game creator. When I was 16 in high school, we had a group of 4 people. In the basement of the computer club, that old table no one cared about was our world. I developed a tabletop game we called REMNANT, a mind game, complex, layered, a system that made you question your character with every move. And I wrote the entire engine by myself. But I made a mistake. I trusted. I haven't forgotten that night. It was the end of November. The school was empty. The corridors were silent. We had finished our final test in the club room. REMNANT was now working. I loaded the demo of the game onto a USB stick just to make a backup. The rules, data cards, character trees, the first version of the artificial intelligence. It was all on that drive. But then I went to the bathroom. When I came back, my bag had been moved. I hadn't noticed because I trusted them, because I thought of them as my siblings. The next day, the club room was closed. The teacher resigned. The club disbanded. Everyone turned their attention to university applications. Our game dream suddenly became off limits. 3 months had passed since graduation. I was still working on the code. I was applying for jobs and writing comments on indie game blogs that no one cared about. And then, one morning, an ad popped up on YouTube. A trailer. The sounds, character designs, even the menu music. Everything was familiar. The game's name, REMNANT REBORN. But this was the game I had written. They had updated the visuals, polished the graphics. But the system? The mechanics? The story framework? Everything was exactly the same. I checked their website. The game's development studio, Echo Forge Interactive. CEO Lucas Brine, CTO Josh Renner, investor Daniel Croft. So, those 3 people, the kids who sat at that table with me laughing, saying, "One day we'll start a company together." Now they were businessmen. The game was downloaded 10 million times. It became an editor's choice on the App Store. It secured a Netflix license. They made the cover of Forbes magazine. The millionaire code stars of Generation Z. In their interviews, they said, "Our inspiration, our childhood dreams." But they didn't ask who wrote that dream. None of them ever mentioned my name. So what did I do? Nothing. I didn't file a lawsuit. I didn't make a statement. I watched silently, because some battles aren't won in court. The real game begins when the screen goes dark, and I started rewriting the game that day. While everyone was talking about their success story, I was writing the final act of my own play. First, I disappeared. I deleted my social media accounts. I closed my LinkedIn account. I didn't even leave my real name behind, because in this game you had to be invisible. Then I began analyzing their systems. Game engines, server infrastructure, CDN distributions, payment protocols, and most importantly, their update structures. Echo Forge had annual final patch updates. They made their biggest sales after these releases. I had to put my plan into action here. That update they were so proud of, it would be the code that dug their own grave. But this couldn't be done alone. I couldn't access the code from the outside. I had to get in from the inside. I created a fake identity. I wrote a clean work history in the background. I stole a cybersecurity firm's portfolio and created a brand new character for myself. Marcus Hale, software security specialist. I sent an email to Echo Forge's hiring team. 3 weeks later, I was invited to their headquarters in Seattle. Lucas appeared in the interview room. He didn't recognize me. He looked into my eyes but didn't see the past. At that moment, I realized some people truly forget, and others just wait. I started working. I was in the QA department. Every day I reviewed lines of code. I tested system vulnerabilities, but the real test wasn't theirs. The real test was the limits of my patience. For 3 months, I did nothing. I gained trust. I became a hardworking person, quiet, knowledgeable, not talkative. Then the opportunity came. Final Update 2.0 was being prepared. With this version, they would add a new mode and AI support to the game. I entered the system without anyone noticing. I embedded my own code into 6 different files. None of them looked harmful, but they were all dormant, waiting to be triggered. As soon as that update went live, the files would merge, the virus would activate, and the game would be programmed to delete itself. But that wasn't all. Every user who logged into the game would encounter a single message at startup. That message was the first sentence I had written. The first rule I had written for that board game. Those who forget are erased. Those who remember remind. And the day came. The calendar read July 2nd. The entire team was in the office. Preparations were underway for the press launch. Before taking the stage, the CEO said, "This update will mark a new era for us." I smiled, because for him a new era would indeed begin, only it wasn't as bright as imagined. July 2nd, 9:43 a.m. The update was uploaded to the server. It went live simultaneously on all platforms. Android, iOS, PC. Everyone at the Echo Forge office was applauding. The CEO was smiling at the press on stage. The PR director had started a live broadcast. Everyone was saying the same thing. A new era, new victories. But no one realized. The update wasn't just carrying code. It was carrying revenge. Within the first 30 seconds, the game launched. The character menus appeared. Everything was going smoothly until the players' screens went black. A message appeared in the center of the black screen. Those who forget are erased. Those who remember remind others. Then, character data was reset. Backup servers were disabled. User profiles became mixed up. Finally, the game erased itself. The system they had built over 15 years was destroyed in just 47 seconds. The news broke. Echo Forge's massive collapse. Netflix license revoked. Millions of users' data leaked. Lucas was silent in front of the cameras for the first time. Josh was arrested. Daniel avoided speaking to the press. The FBI couldn't identify the attack. I left no digital trail. Because my plan wasn't written in code, it was written in silence. That day, news sites called it cyber terrorism. But it wasn't terrorism, it was a memory. An idea stolen in high school. When it returned, it was no longer just a game. It was justice itself. No one asks about me today, but that's okay, because they don't need to know me. There's just one thing they must not forget. Every game is recorded, but some games are written not to be reloaded, but to be erased. Those who forget are erased. Those who remember remind others. If you find a piece of yourself in this story, if an idea was stolen from you, if a dream grew in someone else's hands, write "I remember" in the comments below this video. Let's meet in the comments, because you're not alone anymore. And don't forget, the real game is just beginning. If you liked it, subscribe. This channel is the voice of the voiceless. In the next story, maybe your game will be told.